What's up everybody, Sam Smyers here. Today I want to show you how to make Move It by Valentino and Dillon. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Alright everybody, welcome back to the channel. Please give this video a like, and also if you are new here, please consider subscribing to my channel. So I actually first heard this song on TikTok. I saw Dillon post a video of him and Valentino dancing in the studio to this song.
Here's how to make the greatest house song in the world.
And I thought it was pretty funny. The song is interesting, a little goofy, and something that I'm not usually used to doing. So I wanted to remake it and then also provide you a free download of the Ableton session. Let me go and play through the remake. It's about 1:40, so you can go ahead and skip through this part if you don't want to hear the whole remake, because I'm going to just let it play through so you can hear all the parts. So there's the whole remake. Let me go ahead and walk you through it. So I do have the drums, effects, synths, and vocals group. I have everything grouped, and then I'm also doing some light compression, maybe some EQing on these buses. Now, basically, the kick here in the beginning, let's go ahead and play it. I made it really short. Kind of a boxy kick, and then this clap is very thin sounding, because that's how I thought it sounded in the track, pretty thin. And kind of an aggressive hat, and so those together, basically that's how the song starts, and then for the first part of the drop, that's all that's in the first part of the drop. Those three, kick, clap, and hat, and then you have the bass. Then during the drop part, I have this clicky sounding percussion. And then we have the clicky thing and the clap here. And then of course you have to have a snare riser, so I have some automation on this snare riser, raising up the frequency. I just took a snare and then copy and pasted it across. And then I have it going on in the drop again. So I'm lowering the level a bit. So let me check out the gain here, lowering the level of this snare riser during the drop part, because it didn't need to be as loud as it was in this build-up part. So next I have a second hat that comes in during a different section of the drop. Almost like a ride sound. And then this percussion sound. And then I have this tom riser, and basically I just took a tom sample and copy and pasted it across, put on the auto pan so it panned back and forth, and then I pitched it up. So if I look at my envelope here, here's the transposition, and we can see the envelope going up to +7. So let's check out all the drums now. And that's basically the heaviest part of the track, is when I have all those drums in there. So that about does it for the drums. Let's go ahead and move on to the effects now. So for the very beginning of the track, we have a impact, downlifter, and then a laser. So I'm just trying to fill out the vibe of the track. I don't think I have the exact downlifters as them, but just trying to get the whole like vibe down. And so of course, effects are nothing too crazy, just some downlifters. I have some white noise automation going on here with just the Ableton operator. So you can actually go to your operator here and choose the white noise wavetable and then automate this frequency here. And so that's what I'm doing. And then one of these effects I have grouped into a effects chain that is sidechain to the kick because they pump along with the kick. And then also I'm doing this thing where I'm turning off the sidechain during the beginning here of the track, and then also this section here, because I want more of that crash to come through. And there's just an uplifter sample, nothing too crazy. And then there's some laser sounds. I don't know what lasers they use, but I just chopped up a laser sample kind of like that and put it throughout the track with some delay in this drop section here. And then there's a little reverse crash there. And so that about does it for the effects. Let's move on to the synths. Here is the first saw synth, and it's basically very filtered. If we can look at some effects here, I have the width taken down, filtering off a lot of that top end, and then adding the Valhalla vintage verb, and then some more automation with this EQ8. So if we look at this EQ8, we can see I have it turned on here, and then turned off here. So it's a bit brighter. And then I'm also adjusting the release on my actual serum. So you can hear there's more release on that synth versus this section here. It's much tighter. And so to do that, I go into my serum and I automate this macro knob, which is going to be assigned to the release knob here. And so basically this is what the serum looks like. So you can copy these settings. I have a sub, 2 saw waves, some detuning going on, some fine-tune detuning there. And then the effects here, I just have the compressor on. So that's really it for that sound. If I take this filter off, we can hear the whole sound. And you can hear it's much brighter. So that was kind of the basis for that saw wave sound. And then there's like this echo sound here. And I'm not exactly sure how they did it, but I basically just copied that first sound and then made some minor adjustments and then moved the MIDI over. So together they sound like this. And if you want to see the MIDI, this is going to be the MIDI there. And then this is the MIDI for that like echo part. And basically it just comes in on the offbeat in between those notes of the first MIDI here. Just like that. So then there's a section right before the drop that gets really big. There's a vocal there, and essentially it's going to be the same synth serum here. And basically the settings are very similar to that first wide saw track here. And basically I just added a pedal and overdrive. And it gives it that really aggressive distorted sound, adding on that pedal and overdrive. And then I layer that with another synth, which has a square wave in it. So that's what this sound looks like. If you want to copy these settings, no effects on there. So it's just going to be this here. And basically, as you hear, it gets closer to the drop. I'm cutting off that low end, automating a low cut frequency so that when the drop comes in, then there's more impact from that bass. So you can really feel that bass cutting out. Let's go on to the drop bass stab now, and I'll play you the pattern. And so basically that is going to be this pluck that I created. It's got a saw wave. It's the basic MCB. I add a kick attack noise on there, have this envelope here, and then envelope 2 is going to be controlling my filter. And I'm doing MGLO 24, voicing mono. And here are the effects. So hard clip, compressor here, and then this hyperdimension gives it a bit of width and kind of like this detuny feel, and then some EQ there. So go ahead and copy these settings, or go ahead and download this session down below. And then of course I'm using some utility to make sure the bass is in mono, in EQ8, and then the sidechain compressor. That about does it for the synths. Let's go ahead and check out the vocals now. So the vocals, I just recorded these Move It vocals. There is a woo that I found that's a sample from Splice that has a delay on it. Right there. But then there's these I Like to Move It vocals.
I like to move it.
And all that's on there is going to be a little altar boy. So if I turn that off, then we can hear how it sounds.
I like to move it.
So that's just me saying, I like to move it.
I like to move it.
And then it's layered with whisper.
I like to move it.
And together.
I like to move it.
And then basically the same thing here, but I'm using different settings on the little altar boy.
I like to move it.
So if I take that off.
I like to move it.
I like to move it.
And these are going to be the settings on that altar boy. And then I have some overdrive and some chorus on there. And that's layered with a second layer.
I like to move it.
Same line, but just different settings on the altar boy. And together they sound like this.
I like to move it. I like to move it. I like to move it. I like to move it.
And then there's this weird shout that I hear in the original track, and I wasn't sure what to do for that, so I just recorded me saying "iya" and then pitched it up. So I was just playing around with the vocals here, nothing too crazy on the processing. If you see, I just have like the EQ, a little altar boy, OTT, overdrive, chorus on these ones here, and then for this lower one, just the same thing. EQ8, altar boy, OTT, chorus. So these are just placeholder vocals. I wasn't trying to do any kind of crazy processing on them. So that basically does it for this remake of Move It. I hope you enjoyed it. If you do want to grab this whole session, I'll put a link down below for you to grab it for free. And if you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and give it a like, and also please consider subscribing to my channel. And finally, if you are truly looking to improve your mixing skills, then check out my Modern Mix Academy. This is a full online mixing course that I created that will help you make some of the best mixes of your life from the comfort of your own home. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.